All right, everyone, welcome to week 2 of Grindhouse Scrims. I am Maka. I will be hosting Echoes versus, what is this, Raymond. Fun little fact, this is a NA versus Russian matchup here. So this is going to be very interesting to watch. We're going to see quite a few ping hits, I do believe. We do spot our first survivor here. We will be seeing Arushi on Claudette here getting chased by Ridgely Raider for Echoes. Oh, our killer just barely missed timing it, not quite able to get the hit there. It might have been a misalignment as well. That will be another survivor being found and birded here. Our killer will be switching to Nia. More than happy to get off of Claudette, who will be taking chase to Shaq, instead opting to go for Nia here, who is at a pretty bad filler. This could be a 2-tap. It will be a 2-tap here. Nia going to the comp corner here to try and make the killer take as much time to hook her. But our killer does have agitation, so I don't think it's going to buy her as much time as she thinks. It could deny pain res. We will be seeing the first generator pop for it, though. It did deny a pain res onto that generator, but it did hit a different gen. That does tell our artist player here that there is progress somewhere else on the map. We do find another survivor vacuum on a generator across map, but our killer is more than content to stay in this area, hold it down, try to make the unhook as unsafe as possible. We do get information that Ace has gotten back onto that generator, but we do not have exact information on anyone else in this lobby. The killer will be continuing to harass Ace off of that jet and make it take as long as possible. I'm not entirely sure that Ace can get hit from the altitude difference of our artist being on top of the hill here. And they sneak in for the unhook, but I do think Nia won't be making it very far here. She will make it to Shaq. Oh, she has lied. She'll be taking it over to the 9 corner and pre-dropping pallets to get as much distance away from this killer as she possibly can. Our survivors seem to have abandoned this generator over at 10, and Chase will be going to the garbage truck over at 7. Nia will be getting birds on her, and she will be going down. Just not able to get out of the radius there. This will be the second hook onto Nia, and another gen will be popping off in the distance. Our survivors really don't have a lot of gen progress or gen pressure in this situation. There's not quite a 3-gen for our killer here. Oh, they've been working Shaq in the meantime here. I do think our artist is going to have to play it a little bit closer to the chest here. It's a little obvious what she's going to be going for. Survivors will be trying to wait last second to keep her from getting as much pressure as they can. They go for the unhook now after the 3rd generator pops. Our artist playing it just a little too far out from this hook. Story will be almost cross map by the time our killer catches up. Yeah, we do have information. We saw a crow fly up. We know exactly where the survivor is trying to hide. I think in that instance, she maybe should have taken distance to the other side of the map instead of staying at the tile. She used Lithe, and she got the speed boost from getting hit through BT. So she would have had quite a bit of distance if she continued, but irregardless, this will be Nia out of the trial. We could see Shaq Generator pop for this, though. And we do see Shaq Generator pop for this. See where our gen progress is on the map. Over in this deep pocket 3. We'll be popping it, but if our survivors were doubled or even just singled on a different generator, there could be more progress in this on the map. Right now, our artist player really has little pressure, even with a kill. In this situation, she has to be pressuring these survivors a little bit harder, playing it a little bit closer to hooks, using the zoning tools of her kit just a little bit more expertly. Claudette will be getting tagged through the pallet and getting the stun afterwards, which is very unfortunate. She does have a lot of resources in this part of the map still. She'll be taking it to Shack, which is honestly not a bad decision. Our artist is not really placing birds in a position that would threaten our survivors here. We do hear a lot of progress in this deep pocket generator, and we saw a crow and edge map. Not sure. Our killer did notice that Ace was there, I believe only after the fact, when he got hit with the killer instinct. We will be getting hit by the bird through the pallet. Very, very nicely placed to corner him, force the hit. And now he is forced into a dead zone here. This should be Ace going down very, very soon. We could see the last generator pop for this down, though. I'm not sure that our killer can make a pain res in time. Yeah, we do see the last generator pop. This will be the 4th stage for our killer here. So all 5 gens pop. And we have very little information on where our survivors are. We will have to rely on game sense that will be on this door. We do see our last healthy survivor trying to stealth a little bit in this tile. Steve's taking some very nice, unique pathing to try and get as much distance. And this will be 2 outs here. I see a little bit of value from severed hands at the end, but that will be a 2k6 for our killer. And we will be back shortly to see how Raymond responds with their killer performance. We will see you shortly. Alright everyone, welcome back to match 2, set 1 of Echoes versus Raymond. We will be seeing Irushi on Artist for Raymond versus Ridgely Raider, Azu, a temp name, and Kitchen Wench for Echoes here. We do get early information on Kitchen Wench here, though we do hear another survivor behind us briefly. We'll be taking chase onto Zarina into this deep pocket 3 here. We hear Zarina. We have sight on her. She will make it a little bit further. No, she will not be taking a little bit of distance further into the map. Instead, she will be opting to stay at this edge map filler, and will be going down shortly as a result. This is a fast first down for Raymond here. We will be getting an early first hook on to Kitchen Wench and seeing the first pain resonance of the match being used. Our killer is keen to look for the more progress gen here. A little bit of progress on 3 separate gens that we can hear, but she does venture a little far away from the hook. Though, because we do have severed hands here, it will be getting both survivors infected, and this will be a very dangerous position for the survivors here. And the tunnel will be very, very swift, as Kitchen Wench will be going right back down. Our killer is prepared just in case of decisive strike. But it just... Oh, it is decisive strike. Interesting, but with her infected, our killer can try for a quick tag. And it will be a down here. But she will be on Shack Pallet. Is she far enough out? She is not. And that will be the second rescue for Kitchen Winch here. We will be continuing after Zarina here, taking it back deep into the pocket. We have a little bit of information on our other survivors. That bird. That will be the first gen popping, though. I do not believe that just Dead Hard will be an issue here. And this will be Zarina on her second hook. She got a little bit more time for a gen to pop. I apologize, 2 gens to pop. And our killer will be venturing a little bit further out. She did appear to hear a small sound. Possibly a survivor getting into a locker, slow vaulting. Or quick and quiet. We do have information on 2 of the survivors off of the ground at the moment. And they stop the for the people play before it can happen. Putting our killer in a pretty good position here. And Zarina will be just holding W away from that pallet. Unfortunately, just zoned. The pop has expired, unfortunately. And so our killer will be just opting to kick the gen with a basic kick. And we'll be continuing for a hook here. We do hear a survivor is working that generator. I don't know that that's the best decision. The survivors maybe don't know that it's pop yet. But that will be more progress off of this shack generator. A very crucial generator to hold for our killer. It is the gen that is most easily positioned in the middle of a 3-gen. Survivor very boldly holding W away from that tile, going into a Huntress tile here. We'll just be holding W mercilessly here. We'll be tanking an infection and an injure. Suddenly our killer's in a much better position, even with the other survivors reset. And that's the tap getting cross-map sniped with the birds and taking it down. Claudette coming in once again to try and for the people. That is the second failed for the people attempt, and that will be yet another injure for our killer here. That will be the second pain resonant stack burned, and we will be checking to see if a survivor is working that far gen again. Claudette is still in the area. She's playing it a little too boldly, to be honest. Our killer could absolutely punish this, seeing as only one survivor is healthy and suited to go for the unhook here. Getting Claudette down would mean trouble for the survivor team. Claudette will be going down in the edge map. But I do believe this will be yet another pain resonance. Our survivor's in a really rough situation here. Yes, that is the third pain res stack burned. Survivor's in a rough position. 3 people left with 3 gens to go. And quite a bit of progress on the map has been removed. Our killer seems to think there is someone stealthing in this part of the map. At this time, survivors should be moving into position to get an unhook. Oh, and we find the tap. Still at the top side of the map. And they were indeed in position for the unhook, waiting for confirmation that the artist is going to be committing to a chase cross map. And that will be tap getting hit by the birds. but he is forced to play another tile, which is very dangerous against the artist in particular. He holds W, though, to get away from his zone, but he will just be going down, unfortunately. Artist in particular has a way of making mostly safe pallets against the majority of killers very, very unsafe. We did get a noise notification in this corner. Our killer will be taking the kick onto this generator and looking for the survivor who most recently worked on it. We will be finding Claudette here, still injured. She will be getting red and getting tagged with birds here. She'll be taking it back into the edge map, trying to last as long as possible. Unfortunately, it's just not going to be able to buy enough time for the other survivors to get a gen. They do get full resets, though, for this. That will be Claudette going on to her second hook. There are now 2 death hook survivors and 1 fresh hook survivor remaining in the trial. We do find a death hook survivor here. This is not ideal. This is looking increasingly more and more like a 4K3 for our killer. A very nice result. Tap will be pre-dropping that pallet and getting sniped with birds, and this will be tapped death hook. Azu has to be getting saved, and they are. And there's just been no time for the survivors to be working gens here. The most progress gen on the map, most likely this generator right here, which is at about 50%, and now at 30. Shack generator has been completely reset on progress. We will be looking for our remaining survivors. We do see a crow is landing here. It was not set off by our killer, so it could be that a survivor was recently in the area. Most likely heading towards that generator in the corner at 7. Trying to progress a different gen from the one that our killer knows they've been trying for. Claudette is found out once again injured. The survivors really have just had no space, no wiggle room to reset. And just cannot keep up with the killer's pressure here. Claudette will be vaulting that window, but she will be going down very quickly. Our killer should be taking Claudette just... Oh, no. Our killer will be taking this hook here. The hook closer to Shack already having been knocked out, and our killer will be waiting for Hatch here. At the time, this time, the killer has already secured the win condition. As soon as it was a 2K7, our killer had already performed much, much more adeptly on this killer than the previous one. Nancy accepting death here. And this will be the first set going to Raymond. That being said, we will be right back very, very shortly with the second set. Alright, everyone, welcome back to set 2, game 1 of Echoes vs. Raymond. This is Grindhouse Scrims week 2. I am your host, Maka. We will be seeing Arushi on the killer for Raymond for Deathslinger set versus Ridgely, Kitchen Wench, Corey, and Azu here. The map is Azeroth's resting place. We do hear... Oh, we get a very nice hit on the hill here. Our killer will be taking the lowered stun with Bayshore Cigar. And will be very, very quickly following this up. Not quite able to get the hit, though. Oh, the survivor playing it a little too close to the pallet. Still in our killer's line of sight, and that will be a quick first down for our killer here. Oh. The head-on and the flashbang are just mistimed by Ridgely, unfortunately, and this will be the first hook onto Nancy. Notably, for the perks, we do see Corrupt Intervention, Pop, Pain Res, and Sloppy Butcher. We did not burn our first stack of Pain Res here. There's always a good component of Pain Res that is RNG. Scourge's just sometimes not being very good for the killer. Since we are on spectator mode, we can't exactly see where the pain res hooks have spawned, but it could end up being where our killer gets 4 corners, or all of the pain res hooks spawn on the same side of the map. It's very, very RNG dependent. That being said, our killer will be finding Kitchen Winch here. Getting a quick first hit in this chase. Kitchen Winch will be needing to try and take chase as far back towards the bottom side of the map as they can. Get the chase out of the 3-gen. Try and get other survivors up the map to try and break it. Oh, we do see a head-on play here. Tap getting just a little too cocky and we'll be getting hit for it. Serena will be going back up towards the top side of the map. This Shin has had its regression stopped, and we find the survivor responsible for it. We'll be taking chase onto Claudette. She's trying to zigzag her movement to try and prevent the shot with the Redeemer, but as a result is losing a lot of distance. We'll be getting tagged, and we'll be taking chase back towards the bottom side of the map again. Unfortunately, she will not be able to make the shack window safely and will be getting down very quickly. But this does look more increasingly like the killer will not be getting an early pain res here. Our killer will be trying to take her to a different hook this time. This could be a pain res. It is indeed a pain res. Unfortunately, not coming into play just before the gen pops. Though our killer does still have a 3-gen bottom side, and he has basement on the bottom, so it may be a wiser decision to try and play it a little bit closer to the bottom side of the map in this situation. Notably, we did see a 3-1-3 split, and we have 2 generators remaining at the top side of the map. We know Tap is here, and we will be taking a hit onto him. This could spell trouble. Our killer expects the flare, but Tap will not be doing so. The regression on this Shin has been halted. The survivor should be in the area somewhere. We do spot the survivor responsible. It is Nancy, but she's just a little too far out of range for our killer to be getting the hit with the Redeemer. But this will be a trade. Oh, this... Not a flashlight save. We do see where Claudette has gone. She will not be able to make it out of bottom if our killer plays this correctly. Killer will be trying to force this pallet. Not quite able to get the shot through the window. Claudette just able to vault in time. Claudette has pre-dropped this pallet. Oh, and she fakes the pallet, gaining just a little bit of time, but unfortunately she will be going down, as it is inevitable. We do see that Tap is going in for the unhook onto Nancy, and there is renewal in play. Deathslinger will be picking up Corey here and taking him to a hook a little bit closer to the center of his surgeon. It's important to note the pain res has already been burned onto Corey, so that is not a concern for the killer here. The second generator has popped at the top side of the map. It seems to be all our survivors can really do at this point to try and pressure Jen's cross map while the killer ends up camping someone in the bottom side. This should end up being a 3v1 at about 2 to 3 generators remaining, depending on how much pressure. Yeah, there will be 2 gens remaining. Depending on how much pressure our survivors are placing onto our killer. Killer will be forcing the chain break to void the stun. And that will be tap going down. Nancy is in the bottom of the map still. Sending the Deathhook survivor for the unhook is very, very risky. Even healthy. There's now no risk associated with picking tap here, and this will be another pain res. Tap is now hooked in the very center of this 3-gen. On a pain res hook, our killer can elect to try and force trades over and over. This generator at the hill has regressed a lot here. Seems to be the gen that was hit by pain res. All 4 of these generators are in monitoring range for our killer here. And we do hear that the majority of the progress is on this middle gen. We will be using Pop just before it expires and following after Claudette, who is still at this tile. Our killer will force the chain break to reduce the stun. And we'll be looking for someone else, as chasing at the top side of the map is really not what he wants to do at this point. There is an important choice for our killer to be making here. He can either continue to try and get injuries and force a chase towards the bottom side of the map, or he can commit and try to get either Nancy or Claudette out of the trial as soon as possible. He will be taking an injure onto Nancy, and she will be going back towards the top side of the map. He's not quite able to get the spear with the Redeemer, and he will be going back towards the bottom of the map. Our killer at this point really needs to try and get someone out of the trial, irregardless of who it is. At this point, letting there be 4 survivors up and in the trial at this time is risky. That being said, we will be getting a quick 2-tap onto Kitchen Winch, and she will be going on to the last pain res hook of the match. It does appear that it was applied to the gen closest to our killer here. Our killer will be going for a spear onto Ridgely, but he will be evading it. Just barely. The generator at the middle of the map has been regressing for quite a while now. It is about 15 to 25%. Ridgely has just vaulted, but not into the locker. Did vault Pallet, I believe. Yeah. And does not know exactly where our killer is, resulting in a quick tag here. We do find Nancy as a result. Nancy really should be trying to stealth a little bit more. Getting found is going to come with a lot of risk here. She's now zoned to the bottom side of the map, which is exactly where they don't want her to be. Kitchen Wedge has progressed into second state, and that is 3 survivors at Deathhook. Our survivors just haven't really been able to keep up the pressure. Even with our killer playing a little bit of hit and run, they're just not quite able to keep up the pressure. and keep up with our killer in their hook states here. Our killer knows there's a survivor near, and it was Tap who was in the lockers. I think we might see Kitchen Wench dying on their first hook here. A pretty rare sight when the killer's not camping. At this point, it's now a 3v1, and our killer is in a very comfortable position to prevent the survivors from crossing to the bottom of the map, and just allowed those generators to continue to regress. Nancy is playing just a little too boldly here. We could see yet another survivor out of the trial, but our killer will be leaving once again. This will be Claudette that we're taking chase onto. Yet another Deathhook survivor. Oh, she gets sniped through the vault ball. And this will be Claudette going down. This is the second survivor out of the match. This is a little concerning. Our survivors might not be able to get a fourth generator here, with how tight this 3-gen is at the bottom, along with the middle generator being fairly patrollable even with the strong map generation. This is looking pretty dicey for the survivors. Generator at the middle of the map still does not have much progress. Our killer has spotted Nancy, trying to rotate back to the bottom of the map. We'll be taking the chain break to once again reduce the penalty with the Redeemer. Bayshore Cigar being the key add-on in that situation. And this will be Nancy going down. Our killer is in a really good position to be able to close the hatch. Depending on where his second door is, it does appear it's at the top of the map. This could be 2 stages out of the door, depending on how hatch plays out. Our killer's doors are not the best for him. If Tap is immediately on that door, which he is not, as we did just see a crow on the left middle side of the map. I apologize, the right middle side of the map fly up. Oh, he is on the door. Oh, just not enough range to get the hit. And that will be 2 stages out of the door. With that being said, we will be right back with the second match of the second set. Stay tuned. Alright everyone, welcome back to set 2, game 2 of Echoes versus Raymond. We will be seeing Echoes on the killer this time, originally playing Slinger for them on Azerov's resting place. We will be seeing Story, Smiath, Vacuum, and Narushi for playing for Raymond here. Our Slinger did spawn near the main building and will be going back towards the bottom to check where the survivors are. Steve tries to get out of the way just in time with Scrumbers, unfortunately just not quite able to. And as a result, did take a pretty early tag. Our killer is going for some cheeky hits through these cracks here. Our killer knows that he is unable to hit that, so he will be just swinging immediately to try and save himself some time. But that being said, we will be seeing Steve going down here. It is important to note that we do see Agi, Pop, Pain Res, and Corrupt. We see a different perk in place of one of our perks from the other match. We do see agitation in place of sloppy here. Our killer electing for hook positioning pressure rather than heal pressure. Our killer does a little bit of a silly mind game, and we will be getting an early hit onto Ellen. We'll be using our pain res here. I apologize. Our pop here before it expires. And we'll be seeing the first generator popping towards the top side of the map. Our killer did get a 3-1-3 split, just like last match. Meaning with the middle generator gone very early on, if our survivors manage to pop a gen bottom, our killer will be forced to play the top side of the map. And that will be Smith progressing to second. Still in the basement. And it's going to be very difficult for the survivors to pass through the middle of the map unnoticed. We do spot two survivors here. One electing to go more towards the edge of the map, one going straight down the middle. Both survivors will be moving in to try and pressure the unhook save here. It does appear to be the case. No, Ellen will be taking it back towards the edge of the map. She popped up just a little too early. And we'll be trying to waste our killer's time as much as possible to allow for the unhook to occur. Killer will be going back towards the basement. The unhook does come in just in time. And there will be a for the people play. Steve will be making it a little further out of the basement. But this will be an injury and mend for Steve. Our killer will be electing to chase down Steven to try and get as much pressure as possible here. So he goes through the middle of the map, and he will be getting sniped here. This could be Steve going down, and it is. With no one in position to rescue Steve, this will be him dying with 4 gens remaining. Unfortunately, we do not see the pain res strike on Steve being used, meaning our killer will only have 3 for the remainder of the match. A third generator at the top side of the map will be popping, leaving our killer with a 3 gen at the bottom side of the map. Which honestly isn't a bad position for our killer. We do see the scratch marks of our recently reset survivor. I do think this is Jake here. Irregardless, it is Jake. Oh, our killer not quite able to snipe through the window. Jake will be holding check spots at Shack to try and make as much use out of it as he can. We'll be getting a lot of distance here. We do spot Ellen working this generator around 5. We'll be taking chase onto her as she is a little bit closer and a little bit further down into the bottom side of the map, which is where our killer ideally wants to be taking chases. We see the third survivor. No, this is Jake once again. Oh, Jake getting the stun here. And our killer not quite able to get the shot through the pallet. Killer will be electing to leave Jake. At the moment, our killer is forfeiting a little bit of pressure here. Even with Our survivors trying to take the chases towards the top side of the map, which is now a massive dead zone for the killer. He really has to commit to something. The fort generator does pop, and our killer will be continuing after Ellen as much as he can. Oh, that was almost a mistake made by Ellen there. Keep in mind, this is cross-region ping. This is almost 200 ping for our survivors at any given time, as it is Russia to NA. Killer will be picking Ellen and taking her back towards the bottom side of the map. Our survivors have been pressuring this generator a little bit, and that is the first pain red stack of the game used. Our killer knows there's somebody near. We do find Nancy playing this tile on the edge map here. Our killer gets the spear and will be taking the hit. But I do believe he will be electing to go and try and pressure our other two survivors who were just recently in the area. We do find the scratch marks of Ellen here going to Shack. Notably, Shack pallet has been dropped. So Shack is not the safest. Not exactly sure what our killer is trying to do here. I think he was trying to mind game and get the Ellen to camp on that corner. But in reality, he gave her a lot of distance. This will be Ellen going down for her second hook here. Our killer is in a position where he can either hook her outside of the basement or hook her in the basement. Both are decent options for him in this situation, but the last gen popped before he can make it. At the point where the fourth generator already popped, this was already a win for Raymond, but the Raymond survivors are certainly putting on a very, very pleasant performance to watch. A very, very excellent showing of how to play against Slinger on this map. Oh, we get the snipe onto Nancy here, but Ellen positions herself in time to prevent the down. In this situation, honestly, it's better to go for Nancy. She is a fresh hook and is worth 3 stages. We do find Nancy. She's going towards the top side of the map. Notably where there are no doors. It's a little bit more risky for our survivors in this instance. They will be just taking the 2 out, and this will be a 1k8 for our killer. I apologize, 2k8 for our killer. Not at all a bad performance from both sides here. And I hope you guys enjoyed the showing of Echoes versus Raymond. We will be back very, very soon with the next matchup, so stay tuned.
Welcome, everybody. We're here with Grindhouse Scrims on the Grindhouse DVD. So we do have Numi on Misery playing Chucky going against Vicinal survivors. So we do spawn in and we already see our first perk of Corrupt Intervention. We do have a loud noise notification in the main building, so Numi's gonna go ahead and check that out, see if anyone's here. Gonna start breaking these breakable walls that definitely need to be out of the way. And we do find our scratch marks, and our first survivor is gonna be in chase. It's going to be, looks like an ace. So Wonder being our first chase. Firecracker coming down, not gonna work on Numinous. Numi being hyper focused, knowing what's going on, and our first chase is starting to head out to main into the filler pallets and greeting it. Very nice greet, but Chucky's shortness does come into play here. That is a beautiful hit onto them, going into the M2 in the down. Very nice down from Numi for the first chase And not too much generator progress, I believe, because we did see some survivors in the street starting to cross over. And given that corrupt intervention was on the other side of the map, so very good start for the killer. And we do see pain resonance on the generator by Shaq. We do see about a piston running there, and looks like Numi's gonna find which generator has next progress. And we do hear it on Gallows gen, but we do find a Hinatu in the corner. So M2 coming out, very nice hit onto them, very quick hit. And it looks like they are going to drop chase as the survivor drops the pallet, heading towards Gallows, towards the unhook, as we do see some faint scratch marks heading towards there. We do see the unhook occur, and Numi going into their stealth mode, their hidey-ho mode, seeing if they can catch them off guard. It looks like they did hold W towards the buildings, and the hunt is going to be on. So the tunnel is going to be on Ace. Looks like they do see them double back. No, very good pathing from our Ace. Not going to be found just yet. And it looks like it might be dropped entirely unless they can find them in this corner. Nope. No sign of Ace, so the chase is going to commence onto Jake. So very nice pathing from Ace. Not going to be tunneled out here just yet. And they are going to be giving up their first hit and the drop. Looks like Numi does want to head back to these gens. We do see someone already leaving the gen who was Hinatu, injured, finding themselves at a filler pad, which is very dangerous against Chucky, especially if they can jump, or not jump, but crawl under pallets. But we do see Live coming to play. Very good use of Live, trying to make it towards the shack, and they do make it. Very nice pallet stun from the Hinatu, able to get out of the unsafe area back over to the other side of the map. And that's going to be our first generator being popped, which was all the way in the corner. Looks like it was being doubled as Hinatu was working that gen. And our next chase is going to be at the water tower. See if they can bait it. There goes this very nice play. Looks like they were waiting for the double vault into the M2 dash over. Very well played from Nui. Looks like they know the ins and outs of this killer, as we definitely can see here. So our second hook only this match, which is going to be our next pain resonance. So 2 stacks being used so far this match. Still no kick of a gen. We do see Pop Goes the Weasel on a timer, but nothing as of yet. We do hear progress on main. This is probably going to be met with pain with Pop Goes the Weasel here. So we do see the scratch marks leaving. That's going to be 1 and 2 of our perks being used. And the chase is going to be on an injured survivor. We do see the pools of blood heading towards the open area over here. Not really much to work with aside from some filler pallets and this pallet that has been dropped already. But hidey ho mode is active. They are going to catch them off guard with the pallet. So that's going to be the very quick down onto them. Very much needed for the added pressure. We do see Eruption being procced on the main building gen as well, which is going to add on to the regression, because it's a very difficult gen to protect. So getting the pop plus Eruption definitely sets up Numi for some pressure on that gen that they don't need to really go back to as of yet, as we hear so much progress. 4 pistons on it, waiting for the Eruption to come back. A very good heads up play from the killer, knowing their cooldowns and perks. So it's gonna be pop Eruption being applied now onto that, and we do find our Ace. Not really much to work with. That's gonna be the hit onto them, and the chase is going to be onto them. So they are in under the endurance effects, so no dead art, or no effects of anything that can help them here. But they do get the second generator completed on the main building. It looks like they are going to die on pallet, signifying someone may be close. Gonna try and vacuum them away. And no, that's actually gonna be a decisive strike. A very good play from them, and the pallet going down, trying to get that distance. But with 3 gens completed, our killer does need to get it down as soon as possible. Hidey-ho mode is available, but they have elected to not use it just yet as of now. Going for a very nice block from the Hinatu, not even going to get the hit onto it. Unlucky for our killer. So it's gonna be a lot of distance being made on Ace, and the 4th generator does pop. And it looks like they actually, oh, actually the Hinata came over here for the pop. Gonna die comp corner. And the pickup. So we are looking to get our 4th hook stage this match. But with 1 gen remaining, the killer is definitely feeling the pressure here. We do see our kind of a loose 3 gen. It is something that can be protected for a little bit. Maybe get a stage or 2 before any of them pop. As we do know, the chase was towards the top generator there earlier. So not too much progress. Looks like they are starting to reset. We do see the ace being healed. So 3 healthy survivors at the moment. 4 stages to go. And still no sign of anyone. Looks like our killer's trying to find whoever's going to come in, see if they can get a tag before the unhooks, so that they can get that added pressure onto them. We do see 2 survivors working the gen, the farthest gen. So very smart generator for them to be working, as someone should be coming in for a trade, as they do get it in time, go for a hit, and they do get it onto Hinata. But the clock is ticking. There's 2 survivors working the gen, and knowing how much progress I had before, we are looking at less than a minute until that generator pops. But looks like our killer's gonna go ahead for the drop, as most likely the Claudette was lurking for a pallet save. They want to pressure this gen, and they do push the survivors up. We do see the ace. We see 3 pistons already running on it, so very close from being completed. I'm trying to play a little bit of a mind game, and it looks like it does work, as it turns into a very early hit onto the ace. And it looks like our buddy system of Jake's coming in for a body block. Now with Eruption off of cooldown, looks like our killers is going to apply Eruption onto it so they can get that regression when they get this down. So we don't hear any generated progress to our left. Not much to be concerned about just yet, but the body block doesn't come through. And they do get it. Very huge down. We do see the eruption, so it's going to slow down that generator just a little bit more. And Ace will be going up on their next hook, and it's going to be right in the center of the street in between the generators. It's a very good hook for the killer, as they can access any gen that they want and apply their perks, which is going to be Pop Goes the Weasel. Oh, waiting for the eruption once again. So Pop Eruption is applied to the gen. Looks like they're heading towards the corner. See if anyone rotated over here. Checking the bushes. Gotta check the bushes on this map. No sign of a survivor, as we do see someone to our right, which is going to be our Jake. But our killer has no intent in chasing that, as it is going to be a very long chase, heading away from the gens. So once again, applying Eruption. Eruption is going to be huge here, but with the latest update of the entity blocking the generators, Pop Eruption Pain Res definitely makes it very quick, where that generator will get blocked very quickly. Just a few downs and a few hooks, and you'll almost be at the maximum mark. So it looks like our killer's trying to find which chase would be the best. Our survivors are playing it very safe, playing it very well, not trying to give up an early hit. And looks like our killer's going to go for the chase onto Hinata, as they found him here. But looks like they held W away, and not going to work. Looks like playing a little bit of a trick is going to work. Cashing the Hinata off guard. Gonna get a nice early M2 hit, and no pallet as we see here. So this should result in a very fast down, but they are running towards the edge map, which can spend a little bit of time, but that's gonna be the down and eruption onto both gens. So gonna try and go for this fast hook. Gotta head straight back to those gens. So it's gonna be 6 stages so far for 2 kills, with 1 gen remaining, but they do get the last generator completed. And now with the survivors knowing all 4 perks, they do know there's no end game perk worried about going on here. And we are going to take the chase into main building, and we do see a gate to our side. No sign of a survivor on it. Looks like they most likely will be splitting the gates, as they are very far from each other. Going for the flick, and it does connect. question is that gate going to be ready for them? Looks like it is not, as they did stay at the main building. Trying to take a chase here into a filler pallet and possibly Shaq. Shaq does play into part here. It's easily be connectable, but we do see a little bit of a trick play, and that is going to work. And the Jake doing a really good job actually catching our killer off guard, losing them for just a second. And our killer's gonna hook all the way towards the end of the street, away from any gates, away from any kind of action. So that's gonna be the hook onto them 7 stages, and the gate being open, and also the escape. So very well played from both sides. We did see an early pressure from our killer, but the survivors did a tremendous job stopping the tunnel, having some great chases and some great body blocks, and then resulting into this 3K9 stage. So it's definitely winnable on both sides. And stay tuned for what we see from Vicinal's killer against Misery survivors. Welcome back, everybody. So we are on the second half of the first set of the Chucky set. Very exciting set. I always love watching Chucky, but we do have Vicinal on the killer side now against Misery survivors, and we already find our first fire just like the previous game where we find them in the main building. So gonna rotate, break the breakable wall, but they're actually gonna drop from the main and see if they can find another survivor, which we do see in the street. But looks like they're electing to not take that chase as well. It looks like they're gonna go ahead and use their power, see if they can catch a survivor off guard that's working a jet. No, actually fine. A Zarina, but Zarina corner teching, and it's not going to connect on the first hit. So the chase is going to go into the open area here behind Gallows. So pallet going down, and the M1 not connecting onto Zarina. That is going to be another pallet vault, and the pallet being broken. Trying to zone them more towards the corner, and it looks like it is going to work as they find themselves at another filler pallet. Very nice play from the killer, recognizing that they did leave the loop, especially as they were going straight into their M2. And we do see Zarina going upstairs, so most likely balance landing coming through, and it is going to come into clutch, but slice and dice coming in, going for a flick, not going to work here. Playing very patiently, but now the pallet's going down, and the M1, so the cooldown is going to give Zarina a lot of safety, and we do see the chase being dropped. So corrupt intervention is slowing down some of these generators, and our killer does need to turn this into a down, as corrupt intervention is almost over, but they do convert that into a hit. So very nice hit onto the Kate. So this is going to be our next chase, but that is going to be our first gen being popped, and corrupt expiring as well. So we do see a body block starting to come in. Kate trying to hold on as long as possible. The slice and dice. Oh, not going to connect. Very good read from the Kate, being very heads up about it. And they're doing a great job this chase, but our killer does need to get some pressure as they do need to get to that 10 stage play, and we do see someone upstairs. It's gonna be very difficult because we do know they have bounce landing. We do see a reset onto them, and holding W, but still gonna be very difficult to go for this pickup. They do go for it, and nice play from the killer, not going to get pallet stun, blocking the pallet from the side of the main building. So very good play from the killer. That's gonna be our first hook, but not before the second generator gets completed. So this does break up a loose 3-gen we had on this side of the map, but looks like they do get a hit on to the ace. Oh, kind of lost the scratch marks a little bit, but looks like with the survivor kind of stuck in this corner, and the hook, they were trying to play for it, but ace trying to get that distance. Oh, looks like they did run edge wrap, I believe. Very good pathing from the ace. We did see that multiple times where people would leave loops and it working. Looks like we do find Claudette. Not going to turn into a hit just yet, but the chase is going to be here at the water tower. We do hear a lot of progress on this generator next to us, and with Hex Ruin in play, it could definitely help regress the gen, even if it is just for a little bit. Ooh, and the read not being read there from the killer. Looks like they did take the chance of mind gaming the slice and dice, and it does not work in their favor as they did lose the survivor, as a lot of distance was made from that miss attempt. No, looks like they don't elect to go towards here. We do get a reset onto Ace, and now with no terror radius, undetectable, they're trying to find a survivor, and they do find Zarina, so that's gonna be the hit onto them and the chase. So 2 injured survivors on the map at this time, but once again our killer electing to not take the chase and going for a healthy survivor, not going to connect through the pallet. So going for a slice and dice, very nice play. That's going to work onto this Claudette. So once again, 2 injured survivors, kind of the trend that we see here, but we do see the killer dropping chase once again, trying to get the Hex Ruin into play, see if they can get this generator to regress, as the survivors do need to get the resets. But with Hex Ruin not really as strong as what it used to be, it definitely takes a lot of time to get value out of it. And not able to find any kind of reset in this corner. Most likely, we do see a lot of resets in the main building here. But our power will be expiring, so that's going to be the pallet being broken. Still Hex Ruin in place, so the generator is regressing. Yep, so here's going to be the reset that we do see at the main building. So very safe reset, very patient reset, as the survivor team want to be all healthy as they try and attack the generators. And our chase is going to be on the Zarina. But with the miss slice and dice, that's going to be some distance being made into another filler. The pallet being dropped in, stunning the killer. We do see some distance being made, but no pallets to be used here aside from the filler. And very nice play, nice slice and dice. We have seen a lot of mind games, a lot of little like side dashes from our killer. Oh, nope, looks like they're going to break the breakable wall first, but also drop the chase once again. So Hex Ruin being cleansed is going to be difficult for our killer to generate that gen regression. Oh, kind of a little mind game, trying to stay inside the hut, and that's going to be the hit as they do take the vault. So looks like our Chucky is deciding to take this chase, but it's going into the main building, so it's going to be a decision. Yeah, that's going to be another dropped chase, and we'll most likely see the 2 injured survivors reset once again. So Ace being found, going for a flick, almost connecting it, but not quite there. So this wall will now be broken. Chase still here at the main building. Looks like they are not going upstairs, as most likely that's where a reset is occurring. So pallet going down. Very strong pallet, but against Chucky makes it a little bit difficult. So a very nice connection onto them. And now the chase does go upstairs now. So utilizing the 2 very strong windows, but now with both walls being broken, it's gonna be a little bit difficult for the survivor to play, as that results into a down. Very nice down. We do see the double reset and also the 3rd generator being popped. So 3 generators popped for only the 2nd hook this match. So Pain Resonance will hit the next generator that has the most progress, but with that generator popping, it's gonna be hard to tell if there was any true value being used there. The whiff is going to result in the unhook, but also the body block, so not able to get the hit onto the Kate. So Ace a little bit in danger here. Waiting out the base kit BT, that's going to be the down. And slightly out of the pallet, but enough time to crawl into it. So now it's another unsafe pickup. And we're starting to get some information on the survivor team, so our killer can make some decisions with a lot of information, knowing where the team is. Trying to connect here, and it's not going to connect. So Zarina kind of running into a dead zone. There's nothing really to work here, aside from some rocks. So that's going to be the M1 hit. And possibly the follow-up with the Slice and Dice. Slice and Dice already in play. Pallet going down. This may be a down. Very nice control from the Chucky. That's going to be the down onto the Zarina. And now the pick.
There you go.
So we see the reset onto Ace. Pain res is definitely needed here, and it is a pain resonance. So able to regress. Looks like the generator here on the Gallows. So it's good information on the killer, knowing this one has the most progress. The reset did slow down some of the generator pressure from the survivor team, but with the split, it's gonna be difficult for a 110 killer to protect all 3 generators. So our killer's gonna have to have a very good chase in order to catch up in the points for this set. But looks like with not too much progress on there, killer's gonna head back, see if they can try and trade. But we do see the scratch marks and the unhook occur just in time, and the body blocks coming through. Looks like we're trying to get the fast down onto the Zarina. Very nice use of balance landing. Is gonna force the M1 hit with the endurance. And another slice of nice. Very good control from our killer. That's gonna be a very quick down, very needed quick down from our killer, and no decisive strike. So this is gonna be their next hook. So second hook onto them. We do need to find someone who has more stages. Try to get those on them. And see where this survivor ran off to. Not finding them in any of the bushes. Probably ran down the map. And as we do see an Ace in the street. So 3 healthy survivors. Going to be difficult to pressure all 3 of them. 1 on the gen, 1 in chase, 1 on the hook. We do get the 5th generator completed with only 4 stages. Missing the extra freshers and the stages at this point. They play for the mind game, and it does work. The quick and quiet not really catching anyone off guard there. So Ace taking our next chase, and we do hear the door 3 lighted, the horns blasting, and that's gonna be the hit and the out onto Kate. So it's Kate in the gate now, but there are 2 injured survivors where our killer does need to try and find them as fast as possible. See if they can get it down onto them. We're trying to look at this gate. I believe this one does have a progress on it. Can't tell. It does not have progress. And they do find the reset. It's going to be the Zarina. And the Zarina not going to get hit there. But we do see the Ace getting reset. This will most likely be a 3-out. We'll see the hit and the down onto them. And that will be Death Hook. And the confirmed, should be the confirmed throughout here very soon. So there goes 1, 2, and 3. So the 1K 5 stage, very well played from both sides there. It was kind of back and forth, but very difficult for our killer to take any kind of chase, as the survivors played very, very safely this match. So that concludes our first set of the Chucky games. So we'll be right back once we set up the next lobby for you guys in just a little bit. So stay tuned for that. Welcome back, everybody. So we do have a Nemesis set on Blood Lodge for you guys. Super excited to see how this turns out. We do have G-Bot on Team Vicinal playing the killer against Misery Survivors. We do see our first scratch marks of the match and some crows being disturbed. Looks like our chase is going to head towards the shack. And or zombie. Looks like they are going to be slapped for some progress. Looks like our killer isn't electing to take any of those chases just yet. And very good heads up play on their end, as they do find a survivor already working a gen on the other side of the map. So far we do see 2 perks of choice of Hex Ruin and Corrupt Intervention. So Hex Ruin didn't do too much last match, but with the zombies can definitely come into play on the Nemesis. Looks like trying to get the mind games coming through, and the moonwalks not going to work on our survivor of Apply. But the chase finally does commence, going for the vault, and it doesn't connect. Very, very close one there. It looks like our survivor is running towards the big truck, possibly already saw the lit totem, so it will be calmed out to the rest of the team. Going for a flare, not going to connect, but the pallet stun comes through, so it's gonna be some distance being made away from the filler, which is a very unsafe filler against Nemesis. They do make their way all the way towards the fun bus, but once again, we do see the dropped chases from our killer. So Ace not going to get infected just yet, making their way towards fun bus. So Firecracker coming down in the pallet. Very good play from the Ace, forcing the killer to look up, and then the pallet being broken. So we do also hear in the distance Hex Room being cleansed, as was probably called earlier on the team. We do hear, I believe, the Atom as they were coughing in the main building. Oh, that's going to be a vault, and also the wall being broken. Very, very safe window to be played from the survivor team. Looks like our killer is trying to see who broke the totem and possibly working one of the gens, and it's going to be our Kate being found. So Kate will be taking the next chase into the double vaults. Very, very nice play from them, not being faked out from the mind game, but either way, they do get caught out, and that's going to be an infectious onto Kate. So 2 infectious survivors as of yet, but only 1 gen being completed. So no downs, no injuries just yet. Being very respectful of the pallet, trying not to get stunned. The flashlight's coming through. That's going to be 2 gens being completed, and the Claudette also flaring the power. Very, very important flare as they don't get infected, which would then add pressure onto their next chase. But with this 3 gen, they definitely want to stay up here, try and protect this. And once again, finding the Kate who was trying to work the gens. That's going to be an injury hit onto them, trying to make their way towards the main building. This may be a very close hit. Looks like they don't go for it. That's going to be 2 vaults, 1 more vault left until the entity blocks it. That's going to be the block and the whip, but it does not connect. Zombie almost catching them off guard, but it was enough to slow down their pathing. Looks like they quickly go for a pickup. We hear the footsteps, but unlucky. Too early of a drop is not going to result in the pallet save. So the zombies are doing their thing here, making their way towards this 3 gen, and also the hook being very close. It did take a little bit to get this first down, but it does result in a very, very strong position for our killer, with the hook being in the dead center of this 3 gen. Very difficult to save, especially with the hill. They do get a vantage point, but with the counter of pain res not going down, so that was not a pain resonance hook just yet on our Kate. So all 4 still available for this match. And we don't see any survivors, so most likely working the farther gens, as we do see our 3rd gen being completed, and our last gen outside of this 3 gen is in the shack. Not able to get any information on it from here, but we do get a sneaky unhook onto our survivor. So our killer does need to head straight back, see if they can cut off the survivor. They do find the Kate kind of stuck in this filler. Very unsafe place to be for them, and they do get the down around the truck. Very nice down, and no decisive strike. So it's going to be our 2nd hook onto Kate, but that does give time to get the 4th generator. We do see a Wild Ace coming in, possibly for a hit. Nope, no hit here. So 2 hook stations so far this match on the same survivor, so only 1 fresh to be accounted for. So checking our 3 gen does have some good progress on it, but they are catching, believe, our Atom off guard. That's going to be the injury onto them, and now the tier 3. So very dangerous at tier 3. They can change the way some loop hits work. Going for it, not going to connect onto the Atom, but it does connect onto Ace, which definitely makes it unsafe, as we do have 4 injured survivors. So the snowball potential could come into play, but we do see someone already cleansing, I believe, our Atom. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to down them, as they don't have the whip available. Nice flare from the Ace. Still trying to get this pallet. Doesn't get the pallet down just yet. Trying to get a little bit of a moonwalk to get the distance. It doesn't connect. once again. So our ace playing this pallet very, very well. And that's going to be another flare. So the pallet does go down now. So it will be broken as soon as possible. So the chase is going up towards the main building, which is closer to our 3-gen. But we do see our survivors here. Looks like someone maybe trying to come in forward. Body block, but the hit goes through. So the pickup, no flashlight saves. So our killer is going to take our survivor to a hook, which is going to be a fresh hook and also a pain resonance. So at least get some generator regression on these gens, as that was a pretty long chase, and it was especially on the other side of the map. Looks like we don't have too much information on these survivors on this side, but no generator progress being made there. Looks like the team did decide to go for some resets and also the cleanses before they attacked this 3-gen. So very, very good patience from the team, as we did see in the previous match on the Chucky game. We do see the patience of them swinging into this game as well, and it did work out for them before, and this one can and possibly may work, but this generator is a little bit unsafe, but it's harder for the killer to gain access to it. So our Adam will be getting found and will be getting chased. So very early infectious, but they are kind of caught out towards the edge map. So the pallet is going to be getting broken, and the M1 comes through. So injured survivor now, and knowing how much generator progress was on the gens, they do have some time to commit to this chase. But if it turns into a long chase, it's going to be difficult for them. That is going to be the down from the zombie. Very huge down, very quick down. Exactly what our killer needed in order to get back to their gens before they do pop. So we do have the pain resonance. We do hear someone scream. I believe it was our Claudette. So Claudette possibly on a gen. Couldn't really hear. And then very, very fast unhook. So we see one zombie. Looks like the zombie will leave in the gen, so most likely no one there. So we're going to go ahead and dry kick this. We do see our third piston starting to run. So with the slower start of the match, our killer is starting to get those fresh hooks in, getting those stages with this 3-gen. And that was probably their plan from the get-go. We do hear a loud noise notification on the gen. And with 2 infected survivors so far, that's who you kind of want to chase. And our survivors kind of revealing themselves in the main building. Looks like our killer is going to go for the ace, kind of forcing them to flare, and it doesn't connect. So our killer is electing to go for the M1 and also the drop chase. They do need to get back to the gens. We do see some scratch marks starting to fade, and our survivors are starting to decide to work on these 2 gens, the 2 farther gens away from each other. Oh, not going to work on our Nemesis. That's going to be the M1 hit, and also the Fine kind of getting zoned towards the top of the map. So this may be a very fast down in this 3-gen. That's going to be the down. Body block not coming in time. So that's going to be a ply going down and also getting picked up and hooked. That'll be their second hook, but they do get the third, the 5th gen out of this 3-gen completed. But there are 2 survivors. An ace not going to be getting hit over the pallet. It's a very huge play from the ace not getting down there, but looks like they are going to take the down as Claudette is fresh on hook. But no one is on the gate, as we do know someone came in for a body blow, or for the unhook. That's gonna be the down onto them as soon as the totem gets cleansed. Very unlucky for the survivor team, but very fortunate for the killer. Very perfect timing. So that will be a fresh onto the Claudette now. Very huge points. We do see the gate is already ready to go. And looks like our killer's trying to find whoever's over here. They do see the scratch marks, but electing to not commit to it. They do want to get the rest of these stages on the survivor. There are 2 injured survivors, so no one can really come in for this unless it's going to be a trade. There's not enough time, and we do see the survivors kind of far away from the hook at this time. So no scratch marks. Most likely we'll see the 3 out, but we've seen wilder things in these matches and wouldn't be surprised. But no resets as of yet and no escapes either. So our killer's starting to head back as the second stage is very close to happening. Gotta confirm the second stage, but we do see a reset onto both survivors. So we might see the attempt for the 4 out here. Oh, we do have eyes on our survivors. Looks like they were towards the center of the map resetting, but we do get the scratch marks. They were sneakily over the gate. So this is going to be a close one. It looks like they are trying to zone them away from the shack. That's going to be the hit. The endurance hit onto the Claudette. Oh, and the hit onto them. That's going to be the infectious hit. And the down not coming through. So Kate trying to do their job. And it works out here as they do get infected and not giving a hit. So they do have another hit they can give. Looks like our killer is accepting that our Claudette will be escaping. So it looks like they're going to head straight back to these survivors. That's going to be the hit onto Adam. Not too much distance being made here. So they do need a body block. And that is going to be 2 survivors coming in. 1 body block being used. And that's going to be the 4 out 7 stage match. Very strong decision from the team going for the 4 out. Very good play from them. But our killer did rack up some really well needed points towards the end there, making the win condition a little bit harder for the opposing team. So we'll see Vicinal on the survivor side now against Misery's killer on the Nemesis right after this short break. Welcome back, everybody. After the short break, we do have Misery on the killer side of the Nemesis against Vicinal survivor. So we did see the previous match of 7 stages, 4 freshes occurred. So that's going to be the win condition. They have to get all 4 freshes with 8 stages at least. So we do see corrupt intervention in play. We do see some crows and some zombies moving around, already finding our first survivor at Shack. I believe this is going to be our Hinata taking our first chase. Shack, not really the strongest place in the world against a Nemesis, as we do see a very early infectious in the chase. But the zombie can come into play here if they can push them, but they actually just go for the M1 hit onto them, like, bye. So the chase is going to be getting dropped to find another survivor working a gen. We do hear the main building having a little bit of progress. This generator in our corner has a little bit of progress as well, but no sign of a survivor just yet. Looks like they aren't standing at this rock pallet loop or this car pallet loop either. So looks like our killer doesn't want to spend too much time looking around for them. So now checking on this farther gen, we do hear the same amount of progress, but this time we do find a survivor to chase. So it looks like our Ada is going to be our next chase, going for the flare. Very good flare from them, as we saw earlier from an ace at this rock tile in the previous match. So Ada making their way towards the loop here. 3 vaults, very quick vaults. So we'll be getting blocked, but Bloodless 1 is now coming through. A very good rotation. They make it back to a pallet, but they do get the stun. Very huge stun as they don't get hit through it. But they are making their way towards the center of the map, away from the gen, and a very nice whip over the rock. Looks like they do get a lot of distance, and the chase is going to be dropped now. But we are starting to hear a lot of progress on gens, and that's going to be our first gen being completed. Hinata making their way towards Shack, but this main building has a lot of progress. Can't let anyone get on it for free. So our killer's going to go for the survivor who just popped this gen, who is our Claudette. And another pallet stun. A lot of pallet stuns being happened on this team. Looks like they do know their distances, but that's going to be our 3rd infection of the match. So our Claudette kind of getting zoned towards the edge. That's going to be the M1 hit onto them. So the chase is now on to Claudette. Claudette making their way towards kind of like this broken 4 lane. Going for the slide, not going to connect, but 2 gens are now completed. And our survivor team, they do have... Oh! Oh, nice little moonwalk from the killer. That's going to be the down onto Claudette. We do know main had progress and also the gen on the other side as they do complete all 3 of those gens now. So 3 gens completed for our first pain resonance as we did hear scream. So someone was working a gen at that moment, but no sign of a survivor in the area. This generator did have progress earlier. We do see a zombie kind of camping it, most likely blinded. So looks like they go for the zombie kill, but gonna head straight back towards the hook. Don't see anyone just yet coming in. No scratch marks in the distance, but we do see a crow kind of return all the way in the corner. So most likely the survivor is still working that generator. Yeah, we are at 1 gen remaining, and with our first survivor still on the hook, almost hitting second stage. It would be huge if a survivor comes in last second before second, but the zombie doing a little bit of face camping and confirming that's going to be second stage onto Claudia, and the adventure is on. Looks like they're going to check the generator all the way in the corner of the map, and they do find a survivor fleeing the area, so... Oh, kind of lost the boat. Hello, Ada. That's going to be a very early hit in the chase. They are infected, but another pal stun comes through. So the infection will make it difficult for the Ada in this chase as they do get the pallet break. Not really much to work with, so that's going to be a fast down onto them. Not too much to work with on this side of the map. They're going to find themselves on a hook here very soon. And if it isn't pain res, it might be a gen being completed. It looks like they're greeting for the pain res, and they do get it. We hear the progress on the gen, but not enough to be completed in that time. So pain res will be regressing it, and we do see some zombies moving on this side of the map, trying to find where these survivors are. We do see a very fast unhook, as they do know the killer is on the other side of the map. Trying to find someone. We did see some scratch marks starting to fade away. That's going to be our survivor making it towards the shack. And we already hear generator progress on shack and also this one on the hill. So all 3 generators have some progress, have some pressure onto them from the survivor team. So our killers should be trying to look for some of those freshers before the end game to try and match or beat the result Vicinal's killer did. So we do see the Ada and the ace. Ada injured and infected, so very dangerous to be them. But our killer is going for the fresh, going for the ace, as they are trying to secure those fresh hooks before endgame. Very, very nice slide tech from the killer. Gonna get the infectious onto them, and they are rotating away from the tile, and that's gonna be our 5th gen and another slide from our killer. Very good slide. That's gonna be the down and the pickup. We do have 1 gate very close to the hook, but we do have a gate all the way on the other side of the map, so that may be enough time. Yep, we already see the lights being lit up for the survivor team to escape, but they do get the Noah totem cleanse very, very quickly, and we do have the gate opening as well. And it was our injured survivor, so they do make it in the end game, or in the exit. That's gonna be the escape onto them. And with 2 healthy survivors, it's gonna be difficult for our killer to get another down unless they go for the unhook, which we do see. There is only 1 infected survivor at this moment, which is Hinatu. That is someone you can try and injure with the whip early on to deny any kind of distance. So this chase is at the filler, but that gives them enough distance to make it towards the gate. Looks like our kill is trying to scope out for any other survivor, as that one is almost guaranteed an out. Looks like they're working the gate. Very well played, but it's too lighted. Very, very close. Someone's coming in, trying to get a body block, most likely. 3 lights in the down. Very, very close. So now Claudette will be getting infected, making their way towards the exit. But with the distance given, this should be the 2 out here very soon. So it was Claudette. Claudette not really able to do anything here unless Hinatu came in for some kind of play. Nope, that's going to be the wow. That's going to be the 4 out. So very well played. They do get the gate open and also the crawl out. So very well played from Team Vicinal, getting the 4 out against Team Misery. So very well played from both sides. That is going to be them taking the win in this set. So we should be going on to our next set, which our last set we're always excited for. So we'll see you guys after the short break, where we will have an artist set on the family residence. So welcome everybody. We're here on our last set between Misery and Vicinal. We do have an artist set on the family residence, not something you see too often, so super excited to see how both teams fight it out on this map with this killer. And that's going to be the totem being cleansed very early. That's going to be Hex Ruin already gone, so down 1 perk, and Corrupt Intervention will soon be expired as well. So our first chase is going to be taken by Ace. Birds collected very early, and also the M1 hit. Looks like the birds will be zoning our Ace back towards the corner. So very, very strong down from our killer, getting the Ace. So not very early down. So not too much generator progress should be made from the survivor team. So it's gonna be a good tilt of balance if they can also find another survivor to chase to pressure at least one of these generators, that someone does need to come in for an unhook. We do hear about 2 pistons on that generator. So most likely a doubled up on that, but looks like no one's going to be getting found on it from the birds. Our killer is trying to find someone rotating around the main building, but not going to be connecting onto anyone. So that's going to be the gen now being kicked. And the bird lined up at the hook. So, and with our timer being very, very close, our killer is heading back to confirm the second stage. But looks like no birds are being made towards the hook, seeing if they can try to get someone who does come in last second. That's going to be the Ada coming in now, going for a body block. Nope, not going to make it, so the hit comes through, and the trade. So that's going to be the down. And it looks like the tunnel is going to come onto the Ace. So Ace trying to make their way, but nothing to work with aside from this pallet. So it's going to be, oh, base kit BT will not be enough. So that's going to be the down. And I believe Force Tezzy came into play, but Decisive Strike buys time for the Ace. So they do make it into the tile. Oh, lost them for a little bit. I believe that's Lucky Break? Can't tell. I can't see the scratch marks. Just, no. I guess we just lost them. So very good tank from the Quentin, taking one of the birds, which would have resulted in a quicker down. But that's going to be the tunnel. And we do see the Ada still on the ground. So no one's rotated in. Oh, until now. So Quentin comes in. That's going to be 1 gen being completed. But with 3 survivors kind of occupied, that's not too much pressure on the gens the killer has to worry about. We do have a lot of generators on this side of the map. We only have 2 more generators left in the other corner. But with this setup, our killer will be sitting pretty, kind of trying to confirm this kill and also trying to pressure the reset as they do find the Ada. That's going to be 2nd gen being completed. And they do connect onto the Claudette. See if they can get a snipe off the hill. Going for it. Ooh, no connection. We always hold our breath for a little bit once the birds are sent. So with the bar very, very close, we might see a confirm. No, actually, we do see the Quinton coming in. The Quinton getting the unhook just last second. But as we saw from the Ada, we do see the trade and also the forced hesitation coming into play. That's going to be the bird hit, but it's going to result into an endurance hit. So now Claudette coming in for the tank is going to take the birds. And not going to be enough for the body block, but the double back working in their favor. So the ace trying to stay up as long as possible. Now the birds are coming through and no connection. So the ace is doing a tremendous job rotating away from that down, especially with forced hesitation. Our kill is trying to hold on for the birds to come back. There comes the bird. And they do take 1-2 birds now. Oh, this might result in a down as it is. So our ace doing a great job. And our Claudette body blocking, taking the attention from the killer. So our ace does get away from this for now. They are on death hook with 3 gens remaining. But this hook was on the other side of the map. So not something our killer can really camp. Ooh, not finding anyone at the shack. But with their add-ons of 4 birds, definitely feels a little bit different seeing 4 birds in play. So they do find an injured Ada at the main building. Something our killer definitely wants. So the bird just barely missing. And the pallet not going down. So that's going to be the down onto Ada. So Ada was slugged before, so no hook onto them, but that's going to be 3rd gen. A generator here towards the center of the map, but towards this main building as well, so very huge gen to get out of the way. So Ada now up on a hook, and no killer instinct or bird, so not able to find the reset just yet. Would have been huge if they did, as we did see 2 injured survivors, but now they do get it. It looks like they were resetting under the hook, actually. So our birds were just barely missing. So our killer does decide to go for the Claudette, who has been hooked before. And a very good distance made from them. So very strong vault, but this might result in a hit very soon. Yep, just barely. So just in time, our killer kind of shifting gears here, almost hitting them on the hook, but just barely missing. Looks like they go for some early birds, but not going to connect, as they did kind of hold their positioning. So now Ada is taking this chase towards the 4 lane. Very difficult place to be in as a survivor, especially against an artist swinging right through the pallet. That's going to be the down and the hook as well. Looks like our killer is deciding to hook a little bit farther down, most likely our pain resonance, as we've only used the 1 so far. So up they go, and that will be our 2nd pain resonance, as we did here, I believe, ace. And that's going to be our Quinton getting caught out with the bird. Looks like they're trying to make their way. That will be a locker. So they do get the birds off just in time. And once again, they do hop a locker. Sorry, killer coming back. 2 injured survivors. Very huge decision from the survivor team to send in an injured survivor. So it's going to be difficult for any kind of body block or anti-tunnel help from the team. Yeah, the bird will be pressuring our survivor away from the pallet. So there goes the down and the pickup. Now killer's trying to look for a hook here, hitting the wall. So survivor going up now. So we do get one generator completed on the other side of the map. It's a very good gen split from the survivor team. Took a little bit of time, but they were able to get it done. So our gens are practically uncampable, unprotectable from our killer. So our killer needs to pressure at least one of these chases in resulting in a fast down, or else these gens will get done. Just barely missing the bird onto the Claudette. And it looks like our killer is going to commit to this. We do know they have balanced landing from before. So balanced landing coming into play, able to make it to the pallet. Very nice vault just in time. And our Claudette holding check spots very, very well. Bird going down now. And the moonwalk should be enough, as Claudette does not make it to the pallet. So Claudette is dead on hook, so something our killer did need. They do need a death before this last generator pops, as they have had a lot of time to work on it. And there it goes. Our arcade's pretty spread out on opposite ends of the map, but it is on the longer side of the map. So definitely with Artist, you have some visibility there, but they do find an injured Ada who could possibly be a quicker chase compared to our Quentin, who is healthy. So Ada, a little bit of a misdirection there, doubling back. And our killer trying to fake the bird. Not going to work on our Ada, as they do hold W away into the main building, finding themselves at the vault. Very nice pathing on their end, making it very safe. There goes a double vault. And it looks like they do hold W towards... Oh, no, they don't go towards the back of main building. Kind of catching them off guard. And the body block, but it doesn't come through. What kind of hit was that? Right in between the body block. That's going to be the hit. And the burst being applied onto Quentin. We do see the 1 out and the 2. So it looks like our team's already decided what the outcome is going to be. This is going to be a 2K 8-stage match from Team Misery's Killer. Very solid match. We did see a lot of early pressure from the killer, but our survivor team did bring it back with the good trades and also the very good chase from our ace and the Claudette with the body blocks, bringing this back for only a 2K8 given the start they had. So we'll switch sides and we will have Team Vicinal on the killer side against Team Misery Survivors to decide who wins the set for tonight. So stay tuned for that. Welcome back, everybody. So we are here, our last game for this set. It's going to be our Artist for Team Vicinal against Misery Survivors. Trying to send some bursts, and we already find our survivors here at the Corrupt Air. We do have a choice of 2 survivors, and we are going to take our Nancy, who kind of finds themselves at a filler, not really the strongest place to be against an Artist. A very nice pathing, but that's going to turn into a hit with the bird, so that kind of zones them towards the edge map. So the bird kind of set on the pallet. This may be a hit. Ooh, very close. But we do see our first totem being cleansed, which was Hex Ruin. Kind of similar to our previous match where Ruin not really doing anything, as it does get cleansed very early. Very difficult thing to do against very strong teams, as we do see in both of them. Going for the emote down, making it towards the pallet. So very unsafe pickup from our killer. And it looks like they elect to slug, as they are going for the generator. And they do find our Kate with balanced landing, who might have been the one only lurking for this save. It looks like our killer is a little bit scared to pick. There goes the pick. And looks like the timing just a little bit off from the Hinatsu. That does result in the hook now. But no pain resonance just yet being used. So very early on, no pressure from there just yet. But the bird does connect onto our survivor, but hopping into locker does reset the bird counts. Looks like our killer is just going to send another one, try and hold them at the locker, buy a little bit of time. That's going to be one survivor not working a gen at the moment. And with the birds being sent out, it does slow down the gens just for a sec as they do complete it just in time. So that's one gen so far. And Arcade kind of sneakily getting it, almost getting it before the trade. But that's going to be the trade onto them. And we do see our Nancy trying to make as much distance as possible. I believe that was live. But they do make it towards a pallet, but they do have birds on them. Very unsafe, but very good pathing as they do make it back to this tile. But this is close to where Arcade is down. So it's going to be 3 survivors in the area. And we do get the pickup and the firecracker save. Very nice save from our ace. A very huge save from our ace as it does stop any kind of hook pressure onto them. But they do find our Nancy at the shack. Not really much to work with, getting down at the vault. So they do get this pick, but it turns into a decisive strike. Very, very last second decisive strike. So our Nancy kind of forcing the bird, but it does turn into a down. Very good attempt, taking the bird, holding W away, seeing if they can try and juke the birds, but it doesn't work. So that's going to be their next down onto Nancy. And with 3 gens completed and also 3 healthy survivors, it's going to be a little bit difficult for our artists to get back into this. But they do find a survivor working the gen from the pain res, which looks like it's our Hinatu. All the birds, no connection, unfortunately. So we see 2 gens around the main. We do see the one to our left, kind of spread out pretty far, but especially with artists, you can kind of pressure just a tad with birds. So our next chase is going to be onto Ace, going for it, and just barely missing the bird. Set up just a little bit off. Looks like they set another bird, going for some moonwalks, and it is going to work. That's going to be the hit onto them. And it looks like our Ace... Ooh, our Ace did hold W into main. Very good stuff, but they kind of made their way back towards the killer. Oh my goodness, just barely hitting the hitbox right through the pallet. That's going to be the down and hook, and it is going to be a pain resonance hook, which is going to at least regress one of those generators cross map that they cannot get to. We do see a Bert hitting someone, which is going to be Kate. Oh, and just barely missing. We do see them rotate here, but they are healthy, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to try and get a fast down, because that is what's needed at this point. That's going to be the M1, kind of forcing Arcade. Arcade noticing the bird. Don't want to give up a bird early in the chase, as it does zone them. So very good heads up play from the Kate, making their way towards the other side of the map. We do see balance landing being procced off of the gazebo drop. But even with balance, it's not enough to make it to any kind of tile, but they do make it all the way to the other side of the map, away from any kind of active gen. Our killer electing to not hook in basement, as they do need to get a fast hook and a hook that they can pressure, and also a pain resonance, as we do see it proc in front of us. So very nice fight. Oh, and a very fast unhook from the survivor team. So bird down. No one wants to give up any kind of bird hits, but it does make their way towards a TNL. Very difficult place to be against, but that's going to be live coming in, and we do see the Kate coming in for a body block. So bird set, and the bird being taken, and once again we see a body block not coming through last second. That's gonna be the down onto Nancy, and the hook once again. So there goes Nancy, sacrificed with 1 generator to go. We do know this generator was pain res at least twice, so a lot of progress has been made, and we still see it with about 3 pistons to go. Star Killer desperately trying to find someone. They do find an ace, but in the main building, there's a lot of lockers to be used, which they do use there. Looks like they're heading back towards the gen, and very good comeback as they do find a survivor. Kate trying to work this gen, has a lot of progress, so they do have to kind of commit to this chase and hope that they can get the down before the last gen completes. So they make their way towards Shack pallet, or Shack. The Shack pallet is gone, so not really much to work with. But with the slight hesitation, they were able to make it to a filler, but that's going to be a hit onto them. And looks like Killer's going to go ahead and drop chase, see if they can pressure this main gen that our ace has been working. And looks like we are going to check the progress. No, it looks like they do get the gen right under our Killer's nose. Question is, who completed it? We don't see any kind of information on where our survivor. Here they are. Gonna be our Hinata taking our next chase, and possibly our last, as everyone is healthy aside from the Kate, and our Kate's making their way towards the Kate, and the chase turns into a body block actually, and that's gonna be the hit onto Ace and the 3-out. So very, very well played from Team Misery, getting the 3-out, which should take the win for them for the Scrim Nights for tonight. And we do appreciate everyone being here. We saw some tremendous plays, some very good body blocks, a firecracker save, which is not too expected to see. But with that, it does conclude Misery versus Vicinal. So very soon here in the next 10 minutes, we will be having our next set of matches. If you do want to stay tuned for those, it will be between Dead Future versus Sympathy. So stay tuned for that, and we will have a fresh caster for you guys here. So stay tuned.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Grindhouse Scrims as we get started with Sympathy on Killer, showing no sympathy against Dead Future, who we'll see if their future is dead. But we get started with Oni. Phantom DBD, having Twitch, excuse me, in his name, but not being live, apparently. Or so I'm being told. Imagine. Oh, God. All right. Well, looks like we'll get started here with Phantom currently chasing after survivors Finesse, Jinxie, Cole, and Real Slow Loris on Cole Tower. So, yes, Real Slow Loris in chase, getting him by, I'm assuming he scratched his back like an effective back scratcher, because that, barely nicked him. Like, he just itched him with the edge of it. Like, there's no way he, actually full-on got it, right? Like, he maybe cut the clothing. Like, she might need a new sweater. Like, that's where I'm thinking right now. But, here we are. Real Slow Loris going down. Now, this is the one killer I actively promote. Pre-dropping every fucking pallet you can to stop him from getting power. That is like, I see a pallet, that pallet's probably gonna drop before we even get there. And that's how fast that thing goes down, right? Like, I don't want to be the one that's remembered as, oh, you gave power to Oni. Now, if I'm the second one hit within, the first minute of the chase, that's fine, right? Like, that's all right. Because I'm not the one that gave him power. Like, it's okay. Oh, God. Good times, good times. We got Phantom currently running through Killer Shack with Oni, leaving chase, going back to Hook. This reminds me of the amazing conversation that, or video that's still floating around out there. I think if you ask Majestic Ray for it, he might have it, of Heckin' Sup going off about someone not jumping into locker when they could hear the terror radius of Oni coming in, and it was the funniest video I've ever seen. Oh, God, I adore Keeperly. That being said, if you find it, it's a gem. It's perfect. You'll want to watch it, trust me. But Phantom's still camping out this hook. Phantom's now holding. It looks like Real Slow is slowly going to go up to the campfire in the sky as they just hang out on hook. 2 gens being done in the time that they go into second stage. Definitely not a situation you want to be in when you're playing Survivor. This killer has a lot of pressure. If that Survivor dies before they're able to get another 2 gens done, that is going to snowball their pressure on this map. So ideally, you'd want to have whoever you can save them, and that person try and buy even more time, having the other 2 people maybe crank out gens to either double up or separate, depending on your confidence in the Survivor's looping. It comes into a lot of, it comes down to a lot of, like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Strategy and confidence in your team, right? Like, if you know that they're not going to be able to hold him that long, maybe go triple on a gen. Or double, you know, something. But there's at least 2 gens, 3 gens finished. We got 2 on the board. We have Real Slow Loris gone, and lots of kicks haven't been had. We have now confirmed the perks. I forget that they could see him, so I mean, we're not even confirming anymore. You guys can see him as well as I can. I'm just getting used to it. Here we are. Looks like we have the mind games going on against Finesse. Finesse going back into the hit. It looks like Oni will get his power again. Phantom leaves chase, goes back over towards the gen over in the corner. And here we go. There's Finesse taking the hit like a champ, and Phantom getting his power. And it looks like he's cutting him off. He's breaking up what little powwow they may have been having over here. Phantom now going back over to the main building. It'll going back over to the other side. He hears that gen being worked on. There's his power. Little Blob's giving away this Survivor's position. Where he went, you'll eventually find him. There's the locker. And the grab. Forcing Oni out of his power. Definitely a good call. But there is a lot of blood on the ground. He'll most likely be able to get back into the game, back into his killer power. It looks like we have this killer going back over towards the gen. Hearing nobody working on it, he goes to the other side of the map. And he's searching around. He kicks that gen. Goes looking down map. Again. And there is another survivor out in the corner. Pre-leaving the gen. Not sure. That's definitely an interesting call. Not a bad call, but just kind of one of those, you're playing it safe, you're leaving, you're not feeding him power, you're not letting things snowball, but at the same time, you're sacrificing gen time that you could be on there. You have 2 gens left. At this point, it looks like it's most likely going to be a 4K. You're at this point, you're looking at, you know, hey, how many kills can I get? Or how many gens can I get before we all die? Right? Like a 4K 1 is easier to beat than, you know, a 4K like 2. So at this point, looking at the gens in that view, I believe might be more beneficial, but it could play out different. You never know. These survivors might get both gens done, making it a 4K 0 or having one person get out. But we have Phantom now moving down map, moving back over towards the highlighted gen. He knows there's someone touching his generator, and he is not happy about it. And Phantom now moving over through the main building. And there is Finesse dropping down. Phantom loses power. Jinxie being who he is, Jinxie, and probably, I would guess, on one of those 2 gens. I were to guess, he was probably more closer towards the gen in the center of the map. And that gen is just about ready to go, man. But they're playing it slow here. Obviously, they're not wanting to feed him his power. They're letting him kick gens because they know that you can only kick him so many times now. So they're getting rid of his power. Wait a minute. That gen, like, did that gen pop on its own, or did I just see, or did we not see a survivor leave? Like, what just happened there? Someone had to be there on the gen because one survivor left. I guess we just didn't see Jinxie over there. He must have been on the gen still doing what he does best. We have a head-on stun. We could have seen that coming. We're hearing him jump in a locker and having a few seconds. But we have Phantom now moving over towards back towards Drama. Drama proving all things are not done yet. They do leave with two survivors left. And I am not 100% sure if Drama's been hooked yet, but that could be a fresh hook and three stages. If that's the case, that would be a very big play. Now, that does change how the next team plays. Now they know that they just have to get basically a 4K, right? Like that. Now it changes what kind of builds you can bring, what you're going to do, what you're predicting kind of thing. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they return fire. Stay tuned, everybody, as we swap sides. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Grindhouse Scrims. I'm your caster for the day, Hellstacotruck, otherwise known as Taco. Or Hells, but if you call me Truck, I swear to God, I'll ban you from my server. We are joined today with Jinxie on Killer against Survivors. Tippy, Bez, Mars, and CEO. Tippy. Look, apparently there are two fucking Tippies here. I don't know what to tell you guys. They obviously came in with a plan to try to confuse me. This was premeditated. We have Jinxie looking to get his power. Does get the hit pretty early on against Bez. That is not going to spell that's definitely going to spell trouble for these survivors. They have to get two people out without going into the complications of hooks, hook stages, fresh hooks. At the minimum, we know they have to get two people out. That is going to be a tall order with giving this Oni his power so early on. When in personally, I scrim anytime I've scrimmed with a team. If okay, I'm calling shenanigans here. That pallet was down. That's a clippable moment. That should have been. That was down. I don't care who says what. I'm calling bull. That pallet was down. There's no way. There's no shot that happened. Like, what did I just watch here? Oh my God. We have Jinxie just experimenting with ping, I guess. It's like that first time in college. You just experiment. Fucking Jinxie just came in and hit him through the pallet like magic. Like just fucking just erase the collision of magic. Oop, there we go. And there's Jinxie popping his power again, going after, I would assume, getting people off of gens over here. Mars still trying to hold him in a 4-lane now. This is going to be tricky. He's going to have to play this just right, doing mind games the way it needs to be done. If he plays this just right, he can still hold him for a while on the 4-lane. This is a good, solid loop for him to hold this killer. And it's always one of my favorite places to loop somebody. You hold him where he should have gone down 10, 20 seconds earlier. He was able to hold him a while longer, buying more time for people to get some kind of gen pressure on the board. Because right now it is spiraling out of control in the killer's favor. These survivors hopefully capitalized on the time that Mars bottom at the 4 lane. We're hoping to see at least 2 gens pop, but we'll see, because they have the classic nasty 3 gen on main building. Oh no, they leave. But this killer does have pop, and Bez does go down. Oh man, there's the pre-drop, and that is a tough time. You know, he was trying to mind game. Didn't quite work out in his favor. That is a very frustrating moment. I'm sure he is kicking everything right now, but this does not look good. We have one active survivor that was seen. It looks like it might be a 4K at 4 gens. This is not a good situation to be in. Oh no! Oh no, dead Future in a tough spot right now. Or I believe it's Sympathy in a tough spot right now. Someone is in a tough spot right now. That's what we know. But we have Jinxie looking to end this, and he misses. Tippy buying a little bit more precious time on the game, and he misses. Mind games all over the place. He does buy a little bit of extra time here. He drops it. Jinxie just spiraling around as he looks to get him with the with the mind game, and it surely does. That is going to be the 4K. Now rules come into play. I don't know if they bleed out. I don't know if those stages count, or if the fresh hooks count, or if you take away the fresh hooks if they're not already fresh hooked. Not for me to say. I'm just a taco and a caster. But I'm sure the experts in the background know it'll be okay. But that is definitely going to be equal the win for the first team, the team that started killing, which I'm assuming was Sympathy. They showed no sympathy here. They came in and just the mistakes that happened from survivors were capitalized on. And that's where it comes down to. It doesn't mean anyone's good or bad. It just means that, hey, when you make a mistake, can the killer capitalize on that mistake, right? But end of the day, Jinxie came in and he took full advantage of every situation he could possibly do. That's what separates. I feel like there are a few things that separate good killers from amazing killers, right? You got the good killers who come in, they're consistent constantly, but those who are amazing usually will capitalize on survivor mistakes, right? Like, you're not only consistent, but you know how to capitalize on what is left. And I feel like this killer may have made a mistake not hooking in basement, but I mean, it can't be there's no way they're gonna get 4 gens done with 2 survivors. So even if he were able to get them up and they were all able to scatter, it's still gonna play the same way, just showing a little bit more looping skills here. There it is, the shakes, they got it. He knows. It is a tough time. It is absolutely a tough time. And Sympathy just getting the final hooks in place. Oh, here we go. We found him. And there we are. Jinxie securing the 4K at 4 gens with Oni on Coal Tower. It's definitely an interesting. Don't think I've ever seen Oni get a 4K at 4 gens. Not gonna lie. But that being said, everybody, we appreciate you being here, hanging out with us here at the Grindhouse Scrims. We do have fun. We enjoy ourselves. So we appreciate you taking the time to be here and view Your viewership does support us. While we're waiting, still waiting for this to go next, I'll tell you a dad joke. I'll tell you one of my favorite jokes. If you've been to my area, if you've been around me long enough, you know this one. If you don't, you know, hey, here's a gem for you. Why don't you consider koalas bears? Because they don't meet the qualifications. All right, welcome back everybody to the Grindhouse Scrims. I'm your caster, Hellstacotruck, joined today by Dead Future, Finesse, Heart, Nos, as they get started with a little bit of Wraith on Dead Dog Saloon. Finesse blocking off the pallet, making it difficult for our survivors, Bez, Tippy, Mars, and CEO Tippy. And they get started with a little bit of shenanigans, and the start of this match just really coming through clear as this killer blocks off effectively these pallets, making it very difficult for them to do any kind of mind games. Finesse just very effectively showed them how the rest of this match is going to go. Now, we all have to wonder. Excuse me, I suddenly got the hiccups. But we all have to wonder how far these survivors have progressed on their gens with a little bit of time that they were bought here. Mars is definitely bought enough time between him and Bez to get the gen in corner done. Love to see it. It looks like the survivors that they had not on Hook currently getting some progress done there. Definitely, you know, it's going to help them push a little bit further into either tying or winning this set. So we'll see how this works out, but Finesse is now searching around. Searching for another survivor. He hears someone, but instead he finds Tippy, the Heart CEO, and he body blocks. Holding him there, Tippy just looking at him with his cool sunglasses, being like, yeah, buddy, I just wasted a little bit more of your time. But nobody, most likely no one's on a gen right now because we have 3 injured survivors. Everybody's probably healing, trying to help each other, trying to reset so that way they don't end up wasting more time. Or not wasting time, but I should say really not capitalizing on the time they have to reset everything. And CEO comes in for a strong body block, buying a little bit more time for Mars as Mars tries to get things done, being a little bit unpredictable. We'll see if we see a slow vault and a fast vault. You know how they work that mind game on pallet to force you out of cloak. We'll see it, because I mean, sometimes I've seen that backfire where the killer still gets to break the blocks off the pallet from the survivor going on top of it, and then it just ends horribly. I always love seeing it when it works out really well. You know, usually you watch and you see like Eternal make it look easy, but it is definitely not. There's definitely a pattern. There's definitely a rhythm to it. And here we are, and Finesse taking down Bez. Bez going, crawling, trying to make it over to a pallet, but he doesn't make it around the ledge there. And there's another gen that pop. Question is will this be a 4K? Standard generally for these killers, usually you see them at like a 2K6. Roughly, generally. 2K6, 2K9 maybe. Or 3K9. Yeah, 3K9. My math is not mathing. It's okay, but Bez definitely, or no, that was not Bez, that was Tippy going down as they try to reset. It is definitely a tough spot they're in right now because Finesse has 2 people on Hook at the moment at the same time. So there we go, that's what we were trying to see there. If he was able to get if they were able to get everybody off hook and get the person who's probably going to be tunneled out and healed. But there was a for the people play there. Oh. And there's the pallet drop. Pallet break, zoning this survivor as he goes around and gets down. Sorry, I was just watching that and it happens. I thought they were going to go a different route. I thought they were going to go around the little mini shack and, you know, try and waste a little bit more time there. But I guess that's where they thought the killer was also going to go, and so they were trying to, you know, split off a different way, be a little unpredictable, but just did not work out in their favor that time. Looks like we have Vanessa now moving over, trying to find another survivor as he goes and kicks that gen with Pop Goes the Weasel. I mean, if you're going to have to use it, it's better to use it on something than, you know, not use it at all, right? Oh, he finds Tippy, and CEO doesn't go for the tunnel on CEO. Instead, he goes after Tippy. Tippy might be on their death hook, which could be the difference here. And Finesse goes for the break there. Mars, I know for sure, is on death hook. Maybe not the best to... In that situation, I would have avoided, and it's kind of a tough call. Because if they're both on death hook, it's kind of, you know, hey, you're buying time, but we'll see. We'll see if he's on death hook. I'm 99% sure he is. But I mean, they're buying time, I guess. They exchange a hook state for to, you know, avoid going down or dying. They were not on death hook, so yeah, what's a good call? Give you trading off that hook for more people to stay alive, stay up, keep going. Kind of tough to call. Tough calls, but looks like we have Finesse hitting the gen on Gallows. Bez now in trouble around the loop at Gallows. Killer Shack pallet being used. He doesn't have a whole lot of options as he goes and holds for the corner of the map. And he makes it through, but he has no pallets in sight. That is a tough situation because I'm 99% sure most pallets on the map have been used. Let's see if they can get another 2 gens done before they get the 4K. 4K1, a little bit easier to manage than a 4K3. Tough situation, but there is the swing and a miss. You know he's trying to hit through those bars, but the collision is not letting Finesse go through with it. Now Finesse now moving through one of the filler pallets, but will they drop it? They drop it. They get the stun, but CEO goes down. Once again, Killer wins the 50-50 on that. There's one gen. Were they doubling, or is there another gen being worked on? That is where the big question is right now. Were they doubling, or is a second gen going to be popping soon? Uh-oh. Down. Mars goes now. Now we're 100% sure Mars is on death hook. If he's not, calling shenanigans. I'm pretty sure he went on his second stage after the last one. But kind of at this point, are you going for save Tippy, or are you getting that gen done? Now, if his gen was nowhere near being done, I could see the point of saving. But at the same token, if it was 50% of the way, I maybe would have stuck it and just sacrificed the hook and tried to get the last gen done if I could, if there was even a remote possibility of getting it, kind of thing. It's a tough call, but it's what at least a 4K2 is still very difficult, but it's not impossible. Ideally, okay, so they had no gen worked on whenever he went on the hook. It looked like they were in fact doubling that gen in the corner to get it done. So, but because of that, they were able to get down to 2 gens. Definitely better situation and outcome than the last match. They had a little bit of a tough time, but this round got it down to 2 gens remaining. It's a good job. Very well played. That being done, that is going to be the death. And we're just waiting for CEO Tippy to go and move on to his next life. That being said, everybody, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. All right, welcome everybody to the Grindhouse Scrims as we get started with a little bit of Wraith gameplay on Dead Dog Saloon with our survivors Hammy, Finesse, Jinxie, and Nos. Now, I did promise Nos that if she actually played Survivor or a match, I would sing a song for her. So we'll see if she can stay alive long enough for me to finish the song. We'll see. We'll see. We'll go through with it. We'll see. We'll see. I'll sing as long as she's alive. All right, here we go. All right, here we are. Song, for those of you who may not know, it is called How Am I Supposed to Live Without You by Michael Bolton. I could hardly believe it when I heard the news today. I heard to come get it straight from you. They said you were leaving. Someone swept your heart away. From the look upon your face, I say it's true. So tell me all about it. Tell me all the things you're making. Oh, I didn't think Nos would be up this long. Me, how am I supposed to live without you? Now that I've been loving you so long. I think this killer's not downing Nos intentionally. Supposed to live without you. How am I supposed to carry on when all I've been living for is gone? All right, that's enough of that. I call shenanigans here. I was expecting Nos to go down before I even started. It looks like we got Finesse going down over by main building here. And main building gen is just about ready to pop, and there is Nos dropping down, apparently with shared custody of Nia. And Nos getting hit across the pal. That is definitely a tough time there. But that does allow her to get cross map as she moves and pulls the killer away. But unfortunately, looks like we have Hammy getting caught in the middle. There is a spicy totem. I don't know what they have in play, but it looks like it may ruin everyone's day. Or at least has been in my experience against like Cenobite. Oh man, Nos still going, holding around one of the tiles here, looking to go upstairs to mind game, but instead falls straight into the killer. Definitely a tough time. I'm sure she's definitely having fun and enjoying the time there. They're hanging out. Looks like we have Hammy and Finesse probably healing one another over in a corner. Question is whether or not this killer can find them in time. He found them. Now they're running. He does hit Finesse. Finesse getting injured again as Hammy goes around main building, looks to drop. I would have gone around the edge and fallen down, but that would have been me. Every single second here does make a big difference, and it looks like with Sloppy Butcher, haven't seen a whole lot of... So, going over the build here. We have some unusual perks you really don't see all that often. One, Dragon's Grip. Not something you really see in comp, right? Like it's Dragon's Grip. I've seen it like maybe once. It's like it rarely happens, right? But you know, hey, it has its uses. It's definitely a very strong perk there, but it looks like there's also Knockout. Not something you usually see in comp. Very unorthodox build here, but it is like I said, it looks like it's obviously working. He's got 2 people slugged on the ground at 4 gens. This could all go terribly wrong for the team. It looks like he leaves them slugged. It's an interesting call. Because obviously if they're not hooked, they're not progressing. He's bleeding them out instead. But we'll see how that works out. Maybe it works out in his favor. You know, who knows? It might. It looks like he finds Finesse. Finesse just getting back. No, that's not Finesse. That's Jinxie. He swings a little too early. Jinxie gets a bit more distance. Does he get to somewhere safe? He doesn't. Jinxie goes down. And here we are. These survivors are scrambling to get things finished here. And Phantom goes and taps one of the other survivors. Nas in trouble as she goes after Nas over in the corner. Nas holding this killer in the farthest reaches of hell until he finally just gives up. Apparently, Nas is just too spicy. Just too spicy for what's cooking. And this killer's just like, you know what? It's just, I'm not about that spice right now, you know? Like, I'm, you know, you can't blame a guy. Looks like we have him on Hammy. Hammy in a little bit of trouble. No survivors are progressed, I believe, on hook stages. Could be wrong. What do I know? I'm just a taco. Just a taco in a Dead by Daylight world. God help my poor unfortunate soul. Yeah, but here we are, Phantom going and downing Hammy over in the corner. He just leaves him slugged. Definitely. I mean, it's not a bad call if you're downing everybody too quickly. Like the last time I think I've seen something like this done was definitely Zeno Blight. Didn't even bother hooking anybody. He just bled them out, right? Like it's not a bad call. It definitely works out if you're downing people faster than they can heal. Which, you know, Sloppy Butcher. Which might kind of explain Knockout, but I don't know how much value he's going to get out of Knockout with it being comp. You know, comms are a thing. Kind of makes it a little bit different. Like, I see how that might work if you're playing against people who don't have comms. But not a bad, like I said, definitely not a bad situation if he bleeds them all out. I believe my refs told me how that counts. Let me read up here really quick. For fresh bleeds, lose the fresh hook, but all rewards and other hook stages. Okay, so it's basically like how I have mine. Okay, perfect. So they won't get the fresh hooks, but at the same token, if they bleed out people, they still get all stages, right? Like that's a big play right there. And people are bleeding out. He's just downing them. He's running, moving, doing things a little bit differently than he did before. Working out pretty well for him at the moment. He does hit Nos. Nos just runs off into the distance. But this killer does not stick on Nos. I guess she's held him long enough that he just doesn't want to stay on her for too long, right? And here we go. Hammy being picked up. I mean, who wouldn't want to pick up a Hammy? Hammy is great. DF, Dead Future. Oh, there's Nos. May have bitten off a little more than she could chew. There's that being broken. She goes up. She's trying to make it through the top. He doesn't stick main building. Instead, he goes back over to the hook, trying to tunnel out. This could be an upset. I came into this thinking that Dead Future was going to get a 2-man out, but they might get the 4K. That's anything's possible. A lot of these survivors are about to be bled out. He has a different set of pressure on these survivors. It's kind of a tough spot for them to be in. They're all injured. They're all affected by Sloppy Butcher, making it slower for them to heal. Oh, I think he was going for a window play there, but didn't quite work out for him. Now they're all going locker to counter the slug pressure, but that also works out for him getting his fresh hooks. If he gets them all fresh hooked and they just bleed out, then it just works for him, right? Like, he gets all the fresh hooks and then still gets the hook stages if they bleed out, right? Like, he's just got to keep pressure going. He has to keep them off of their gens. Keep letting Ruin do its thing, right? You want to dance with me, kitty? Aw. At any rate, we have, looks like we have Phantom chasing after Hammy. Hammy in trouble as he looks like he's about to bleed out. This is definitely, like I said, it's a different tactic that's working pretty well in his favor right now. Because these survivors are having to heal each other to buy more time now to counteract the bleed out. But Hammy, if he bleeds out, he doesn't have to worry about hooking them anymore. He still gets all hook stages on him. And there's Nos getting hit. Will Hammy be picked up in time? I don't think he will. That is 2 stages immediately without having to worry about hooks. Oh, he gets up! But now all he has to do is down Hammy again, and that's basically it. Oh, he heard him. There it is. All he's got to do is give him the tap-a-rooney, and there it is. Just tap it in. Just tap, tap, tap it in. And Hammy is gone. At 3 gens, like I said, it's a different tactic. You're not wasting time going for hooks. Instead, you're just keeping pressure, letting Ruin do its thing. At this point, immediately, as soon as you see people, like in my opinion, this is just what I would do. If I see that these guys are, if he's just downing, bleeding out, he's obviously letting Ruin do its thing as he knocks you off of the gen, it would be best if they found Ruin and just destroyed it, because at that point he's losing gen pressure, but you're wasting time to destroy Ruin, right? So I could see most people in comp just leave it alone. They're just like, screw it, we just play around it, right? But I've seen Ruin win games, right? It's a tough call, and it's a tough situation, but right now they have Nos being bled out. We have Ruin doing its thing over there in the corner. We have 2 survivors healthy. Nos being picked up. He hears Nos somewhere. There's a hit on Finesse. And Phantom going back in cloak as he goes over towards main building. Finesse going to try to abuse those walls. But Phantom doesn't go for the bait on Finesse. Instead, he hits Jinxie, keeping them healing off of, and basically keeping them off of gens, so that way gens stay regressed, making it very difficult to get a gen done if they're busy slowly healing each other because of Sloppy Butcher. Now, looks like, oh, there's there may have been a miscalculation. He goes for the locker. Jinxie, I don't think has been hooked yet. And there's the call to break Ruin. Looks like pressure might slip away from this killer now. As Ruin is gone, it's no longer regressing. You can no longer just knock people off. Now he's having to rely on Dragon's Grip. Now the big question is whether or not these survivors know he's got Dragon's Grip, because now he's going to start hitting gens. So it's going to be a little bit of a surprise. You see, generally, if you see Ruin, most people, that's all they bring. These survivors may not see that he has brought Dragon's Grip. It's not a common perk. Oh, and there's the down. Finesse bleeding out more and more. He goes for hook. First hook, there's the fresh hook. Every survivor, I believe, has now been fresh hook. I could be wrong. I think he hooked, I believe he hooked Nos too. But looks like we have somebody, Nos, in play here. Holding, I believe, with life. There's the run and a hit. Nos now moving over towards the other side of the map as they try to get some more pressure on Gens to try and force this killer to keep hooking. But here is the down. Jinxie still got quite a bit of blood bleeding left to do. But I believe this is his second stage. No, he's dead. This might be a 4K at 3 gens. This match definitely went away that I did not predict it going. Very big, very strong play here. Ruin doing quite a bit of the work there. Basically just allowed him to come in, uncloak, hit, move him off of gens, let Ruin regress. Basically just keeps pressure on survivors, and then they go to try to heal, and they're just slowed down by Sloppy Butcher, right? Like if he comes in to pressure them a little bit, they let go, all of that healing is now gone, and they have to re-heal. And there's the down. That is the 4K at 3 gens on Dead Dog Saloon. It is definitely a strong play there. But Phantom now going back over to Hook. Nos, we'll see where Nos is at now. She's somewhere. But we're not 100% sure where she may have crawled to. Oh, there she is. And that is the last hook. And here we are wrapping everything up with a 4K at 3 gens on Dead Dog Saloon. Just wait for everybody to go and move on to the next set. That being said, everybody, we appreciate you all being here, watching, viewing. You as our community are very big on showing support, just like I said, just being here. So we appreciate you. Stay tuned as we swap sides and we move on to the next set. We'll be right back. And welcome back, everybody, to the Grindhouse Scrims. Brain is starting to slowly not work the closer we get to 12 a.m. But we are here on Wrecker's Yard with the Big Daddy himself, the Executioner, as we play against, again, the amazing Dead Future survivors, Jinxie, Finesse, Nos, and Fancy. And it looks like the first survivor to be found is Finesse over in the corner. Now, we have Executioner going for flicks. Definitely a gutsy call. You're wasting a lot of time when you go for these flicks and you're not hitting them, right? So if this were me, I would try to get the hits, because all the time that he spent trying to get flicks could have been him bloodlusting around, getting the hit, downing them, getting them on hook, moving on. But you know, everyone's called. It's you got people out there that are really, really good about their flicks, like Ultra, right? Like that guy can flick a duck from across the pond. And we have Phantom zoning Finesse over in the corner here. And there's the point. Trying to just waste as much time as he humanly possibly can before he gets hooked. And we'll see if this is a Scourge hook. It certainly is. So someone's gen out there is not gonna pop in time. But we'll see what happens. We'll see. Maybe 3 gens still pop. So if that wasn't the most regressed gen, that means there are 2 gens out there that are about to fly. There's one. Question is do they break the 3 gen between with main gen? Main gen is always one of the most important gens to finish because it ties in a lot of different gens, right? Because they still have a nasty 3 gen right there with main still in play. We'll see how survivors handle this as we have Executioner now going after holding Finesse, trying to keep people off of main building, or excuse me, not main building gen, but Killer Shack gen. Apologize, I was mistaken, but can't blame me. I usually turn into a pumpkin at about 11:30, going on almost going into 12 o'clock before this pony show goes to its before it goes to its end. We have Phantom now chasing after Finesse, downing Finesse. Finesse trying to buy as much time as he can, having nothing really to play with. Didn't buy him a whole lot of time, but he does have the DS. DS now with a few extra seconds buying him more time. And Finesse getting flicked. Not something you were expecting to see there. But it looks like he goes for the hook as he knows he hears that gen is nowhere near being done. And he does get the corner hook. He gets popped. He is going to pop that gen like a weasel. Oh, no. They didn't get it done. Pop regressing the hell out of that gen as Finesse goes back on hook. Another 2 gens fly. And Fancy doing the best they can to get that done, but that gen is basically at 0. Looks like that has maybe 1 piston flying. But there's more than one way to finish a break a 3 gen, right? They can always leave. They can always leave that gen. Those gens are far enough spread apart. Like, if they, I don't know, they're still kind of close with the main building gen being done. It's they're not super close, but they're close enough where it's gonna possibly cause an issue. The ideal situation, obviously, being if they had finished Killer Shack gen, but unfortunately, this killer kept it there. Now they have 1 gen remaining. Killer goes to hit it. Just a dry hit as he goes to pressure other people off. That gen was very close to being done. Killer Shack gen being worked on again. These survivors playing things slow, which is how you generally want to do them. You pre-leave, you have 3 people. You want to force chase so that way the generator that is closest to being done can be progressed. There's the last generator. Phantom going in for it. And Nas getting hit by the flick. She's holding there. Nas helping Phantom get a little bit of tea as she does bag at the pallet. And there's the hit in the corner. We have Phantom now going over to check doors. Will they just crack the door and go? There it is. I do believe they take will they take the 2-man or will they go for the save? Kind of interesting to see what they do because Nas is going to be so far away from the door that it's going to be a tough time getting her all the way, getting to that door, right? But we'll see how this works out. Also, that is real. Oh, Nas holding. Looks like Nas is giving a couple of good workouts. Nas getting hit as they leave. Very interesting way that this game ended. It is a 2K6. Stay with us as we swap sides and we see how Dead Future moves forward. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. All right, welcome in everybody to the Grindhouse Scrims. Bear with me, I'm fucking tired. But we have our Prion TV on the Executioner on Wrecker's Yard versus Survivors, Tippy, Bez, Phantom, and Mars, as Prion is not going for those flicks. Instead, he goes for the guaranteed hit. He's going to try and zone this Survivor, predicting the hit. He does a strong job about blocking off that area. Essentially, they run through it. He wants to put it possibly in a cage of torment, but Prion now sticking to Mars, as Mars now moves over towards a main tile. Mars now moving around. Do they drop the pallet? They don't. They stay. They try to crouch tech, and they get hit. Mars now going. Will they get to a Scourge Hook? It looks like that's what he's aiming for. Will a gen pop before he gets there? There's one. Will there be a second? Looks like they got the Killer Shack gen. Definitely gonna add a lot of pressure to these survivors. Or these survivors are adding a lot of pressure, taking it away from the killer, as they now got the center gen done. But if I'm a betting man, I'm betting that they probably doubled that gen, because a second gen hasn't popped yet. Even with Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, should have done so. So my guess is they probably doubled that gen to get it knocked out and out of the way. And with the third person in chase going down, that left one other person. So we'll see. But even if they only had one person on a gen, did they triple that gen? Because another gen should have popped. Here we are. Okay. We'll just never know. All right, like they had to have doubled it. May have been a triple. I don't know. I'm just a taco. What do I know? But down Phantom goes, and we have them going back on hook, or not back on hook, but Phantom now going on hook, as Prion now chases after his kill Mars, who I believe it's on Death Hook, because I'm pretty sure they went to second stage, so they have two gens. See how this works out. But all Prion has to do now is use Ruin, knock people off of gens, and the Ruin does the rest. And someone, I'm assuming Mars, went for oh nope, someone healthy went for Phantom. Definitely a good call. Mars now in the corner holding Prion. Prion trying to down Mars and get them out of the way for the kill. But Mars holding Prion long enough that most likely another gen will pop by the time he gets the hook. Question is hopefully Mars doesn't run into whoever is working on the hook, whoever's working on the most progressed gen. But it looks like he holds him over, and Killer Shack, he gets hit, he gets caged. Oh no, final judgment. There it is, the way of the Executioner. That gen was very close to popping. That is very unfortunate, but it looks like they found, looks like they may have found Ruin. So that's no longer there. Looks like we've also used 2 Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. Obviously, you guys can see he has he is running another spicy totem there. We'll see how this works out for him. With Corrupt Intervention, it's definitely an interesting build. Definitely very good. He's obviously going for, and he's obviously planning for something to happen at the end. He knows what he needs to do. Prion is coming in, looking to secure this win. Oh man, Ace Bez just holding it around Killer Shack. Will he make it to the gen? To the pallet. He doesn't make it. takes the hit. Now moving over towards a main tile as he goes down. Getting hit by Prion's flick. You know, for as long as I've known Prion, I didn't know Prion was a compy. You learn something new every day. And there's a gen that finishes. 2 gens remaining. 1 survivor on hook. That's 1 other survivor that is out doing another gen. Hopefully we'll see a 2nd gen pop here pretty soon, or I should say 4th gen. We'll find out. We'll find out next time on Dragon Ball Grindhouse Scrims. Oh, there it is. There's the gen. Tippy. No, not Tippy. Bez going down in a 4-lane. And he does get caged. He's in his own little go-go dancer cage. Bez is an amazing go-go dancer right now. I'm sure he's having an amazing time, but it was short-lived as he does get saved. Phantom using for the people, it looks like. Oh, and there's Phantom looking to buy or waste as much time as he can. Unable to drop. Alec goes down. Oh, good old Nicolas Cage, man. Don't see him that often in comp. Well, Brian's now back on the hunt. And he sees immediately Tippy. Tippy trying to hold Brian over at a 4 lane. We'll see how he runs it. And he leaves. He instead finds Phantom. Leave Phantom alone. Phantom now, or not Phantom, but Prion now finding Bez. Bez is on Death Hook. They have 1 gen remaining. If he gets this kill with his endgame build being Noed, he could make a major upset. There's the hit. This could be it. He could get the execution on this survivor. If he gets this early enough, that'll buy him enough time to set up to down one of the other survivors, hook him, kill him, and that'll be the end and give the win to Dead Future. We have Prion now moving around over at a filler tile. He gets the hit before the gen can finish. There's Final Judgment in play. And the question is now, do they get the last generator, and what survivor does he find first? Is it Phantom or is it Tippy? It's Tippy he finds first. It's going to be huge. And he does find Tippy first. And if he can hit him before someone gets that spicy totem, it'll be big. Goes for the break. Oh, nobody on door. He goes for the flick. And they, at this point, now see he has a spicy. It's got a fucking glowy in play, so I'm sure they know now that he's a little quick, that he's pretty fast. And there's the flick he tries to get. This could be close if they get him out, but they would have. It's kind of still anyone's game whether or not he gets out. Oh, he's doing his best. No, he doesn't make it. There's Hatch. Gotta wonder if he had just run straight for Hatch, if he would have made it or not. Tough call. But there's the hook. CEO going on hook. Prion giving the good old tapperoonies as they end this match with Dead Future having some sort of future. That being said, everybody, we are going to call it a night and thank everybody for coming out. These teams for playing. Thank you so much. You guys take care and have a wonderful time. I'm Hellstacotruck, dipping out of here.